A mature Dall ram lives where other animals cannot. He thrives in the deepest mountains. Here he finds solitude and refuge from his predators. Early autumn is his time to flourish, to build strength for the upcoming rut and another harsh winter. The grizzly, the wolf, or wolverine rarely attempt to capture him this time of year. This is the one brief window of the annual growth cycle in which Mother Nature tips the scales to favor the prey rather than the predator. For a small margin of hunters, this too is the season for them to flourish, to test their strength and resolve, to awaken their soul. To see if another year's planning and dedicated physical preparation will produce a harvest of one of the most difficult animals to hunt in all the world. Killing a ram isn't what makes you a sheep hunter. You must come to understand the species you're pursuing. A sheep hunter must face the same dangers a wise old ram faces, and survive in his mystical, unforgiving world. To call yourself a sheep hunter, you must face challenges. Obstacles that tower above that which you believe you can overcome. And when it happens, you must embrace the doubt and the fear. Cling to whatever faith you can find and forge ahead. It's in that instant that the spirit comes alive and a sheep hunter is born.
If I had to pick a hero or role model in my life, it would have to be my dad. Most of what I know and who I am is because of him. When Dad first told me he had cancer, my stomach sank. But my old man's tough as nails. He kept his chin up, never wavered. All he said was, "I'm gonna fight this like hell." As he was going through treatment, we talked about regret. One day he looked me in the eyes and told me, "Don't hold back in life, Mike. Don't ever hold anything back. If there's something you want, you gotta go for it." I had a couple of buddies, Pooh and Pap. They hunted all over North America. Both of them hunted Dall sheep. They told me about the miles, how bad their feet and bodies hurt. They both agreed, Dall sheep was by far their greatest adventure. I started working out and eating right before I even called Billy to book the hunt. I ended up losing 75 pounds. I worked an average of 90 hours a week for 2 years to pay for the trip. Pooh and Pap both passed away while I was training for the hunt. Their memory fueled my fire. I took my training and preparation to a whole new level. When Dad found out his cancer was under control, I took it up another notch because I knew that it was now possible that he would be around to see the result of this adventure. When I hugged Dad and said goodbye at the airport, the fear of failure wedged its way in, but I knew I could no longer let excuses define me. I had to take action. I was on a mission.
Being a father and have your son go into an adventure and follow through. People have a tendency to procrastinate. Mike said, "I'm going to do this," and he did.
I was worn out. I'd just come off from a grueling 90-mile sheep hunt, where in 10 days we never saw a legal ram. Before that was a 3-on-1 caribou hunt, where one of my clients and I narrowly escaped drowning in a river. Part of me was hoping the pass would be socked in. I wanted to go back to base camp and lick my wounds. A rookie pilot might have turned around, but for a seasoned cub driver like Jake, he just slipped the wings under the clouds as his tires washed over the ancient tundra below. With nothing but descending terrain ahead, the remainder of the flight to Spike Camp was routine. 3 weeks into the season, I was already starving. My body craved fresh protein. Ahead was another 10 days of little more than freeze-dried food. I knew this hunt was one of the biggest undertakings of Mike's life. I questioned whether I had the grit to put him in front of a full curl ram. I was already feeling the pressure. I wasn't sure how, but I had to find a ram. I'm in sheep country. A little bit of snow. Pretty foggy the last couple weeks. Wet, rainy, snowy. Actually not as much snow as I thought there'd be. Be a little bit tough picking out sheep in this snow, but hopefully we can keep some sunshine, get some of it to melt. Get her done. Find illegal sheep. Maybe do some bear and caribou hunting. We got 10 days. Make something happen. Over 2 weeks ago, I had a client fall in the river and I had to dive in and help him get out. And then it's been raining ever since, raining and snowing. So everything I own is wet. So I'm trying to dry out those boots, trying to dry out these boots. I figured we'd have snow here, so I had the gaiters and the boots ready, but if I can get away with it, I'm gonna run with the Crocs here while I set up camp. Hopefully we get a little more blue sky, a little bit of sunshine. 36 degrees here. Feels cool, but if it's dry, I'm happy. I'm digging it. Here comes Mike. Jake's got a pretty stiff crosswind.
Flying in, I looked at the mountains and thought, you got this. But as soon as we landed, those mountains looked a lot bigger.
No problem. Lost our sunshine, got a little bit of rain at this point. Mike Rhoades, Green Bay, Wisconsin. You ready for this, Mike?
No choice now, do I?
Nope, not much.
I can't believe I'm here.
How long you been dreaming of this hunt?
But a few years.
Yeah.
It was a pipe dream for a lot of years and made it a reality.
Good for you.
All my life I thought sheep hunting was for someone else, not for guys like me. I wasn't sure if I was worthy of such an opportunity. I felt so lucky.
It's raining, what do you know?
I tried to just soak it all in, but I was so excited, I knew there was no way I could get any sleep that night.
Morning of day one. A little frost on the pumpkin. Mostly clear skies. These mountains were pretty well snow covered when we arrived yesterday afternoon. Got some decent weather. Clearing off pretty quick. Got a couple days worth of grub and gear. 6:30, day one. Mike Rhoades, Green Bay, Wisconsin. We got 10 days in the Brooks Range. What are we looking for?
Looking for Dall sheep.
And what are you hoping to experience in Alaska?
Can't quite put it into words right now.
I'm trying to experience Dall sheep hunting in the Brooks Range. And what all that entails?
I'm about to find out.
We're gonna find out. Each one's a little different, so that's what we're here for the adventure. You ready for it to begin?
I'm ready.
Let's do her. We're off and running. Got a ewe up here. She's up there quite a ways. Seems to be all alone. Got a young ram. There's another one up and to the right. We're gonna keep easing up this creek bottom. See what we got in here. Probably got about 7 miles on. We got 13 lambs and ewes and a couple of young rams. Gonna keep crawling up here. Try to find some curly horns. This river, a lot of the drainages don't have much for water, but this one sure does. Certainly seeing a few sheep in here. Seen 17 so far. Not quite noon. There's these 13 lambs and ewes and young rams that we spotted earlier. Just about to the head of her. Up ahead's the Continental Divide. So we'll poke over here, see what we got. Been up here now for about 23, 24 days. It's rained all of 2 or 3. Boy, it's sure nice to get some sunshine. Boots aren't dry yet, but most everything else is. Boy, it's really nice to get some good weather, cover some country.
Every turn we made as we worked our way up the canyon, there was another waterfall. It was probably the most beautiful place I had ever seen. And to drink the water, it was so clean and cold. It was the Alaska that I always dreamt about.
Here's your chance for a shower.
I'm good.
We put on a lot of miles. We saw sheep sign almost everywhere we went, but most of it was pretty old. Because the weather was so good, we decided to hunt the whole drainage in one day rather than spike out that night on the mountain. All my nervous energy from the day before was spent. It was about 11 o'clock when we rolled into camp. My muscles were sore, but I knew I would be ready for the next morning.
After putting on well over 20 miles today, camp is a welcome sight. Do some grub, get some shut-eye. Hopefully we got good weather again tomorrow. What'd you think of day one of your sheep hunt, Mike?
It's an adventure.
You gonna sleep a little better tonight than you did last night?
We're gonna sleep real well tonight.
Morning, day 2. We're spiking out. 4 days worth of grub. 5 if we really need it. Got just a little bit too much creek here. I think we'd get wet, so we're pulling out these little overweighters. I threw them across to Mike. Hunting the backside of all these mountains, go up this next drainage over. And then after a couple of days, come out of this canyon right here and return to our base camp. Yeah, that is the plan. Gotta find a sheep. Pretty thin in here, but we're gonna keep getting at her. Nature strives unceasingly for balance. I see it as divinity in its most tangible form. The life and death of any one individual thing doesn't really matter. The objective of nature is the whole, the eternal continuation of all life. This area of the Brooks Range once flourished with Dall sheep. However, some combination, perhaps weak genetics, overgrazing, or too many predators, collided with an early winter just after their strenuous breeding season had ended. Freezing rains left their feed cased in ice, and most of the herd perished. It was a big change to the environment, but I could already see nature beginning to heal herself. The grizzlies were affected little. They still had plenty of berries, squirrels, and roots to eat. The wolves, however, they were starving. The caribou that had been so plentiful in the area for decades had altered their migrations. They had depleted the slow-growing lichen they thrive on, and the wolves were now forced to target sheep more than ever. With their prey so sparse, most of the wolves had either moved to more game-rich areas or starved to death. What was left that August in the northern Brooks Range were only the strongest, fittest of sheep, the most enduring, cunning, and stealthy of wolves. It was my 17th year of guiding. Was I past my prime? Was I no longer growing toward the sun, but rather weakening, deteriorating, closer to the earth? This hunt would be a test for me, both professionally and personally. Just like any other adversity in life, this one too brought with it a seed of opportunity. Just entered into this other main drainage. You can see a lot of country here. We're just gonna climb up to this little knob, park it for a while, let our eyes do the walking. 2:45, day 2. Got a ram spotted. Spotted him out quite a ways up in that shale about in the center. Tell he's at least 3/4 curl. So the heat waves are pretty bad. I can't tell any more than that. But this is a big enough ram. Figure we better get an eyeball on him. Don't find any legal sheep here these days, so figure we better. He's fairly close to legal at least, so figure we better invest the time and go check him out rather than stomping that country. So we're gonna get up on this nearby ridge and try glassing him again. Bet you're really bummed he didn't draw that tag now, huh?
Yeah.
He's pretty much in the bank. Big Arctic grizzly. Mike applied for a tag in this area but didn't draw. And this would be a beauty. Half mile from where the airplane can land. He's about a mile away from us right now. Half mile from our camp. But he's digging for roots. Been seeing where he's been digging all over the place. Seeing fresh scat everywhere. This ram we've been watching, I don't know, he's just 95% sure he's not legal, but not 100. Just heat waves are just too bad. So I don't know. Mike and I are gonna have to discuss what we're gonna do about that sheep. I think the only way to know what he is for sure is to get up a little closer and get an eyeball on him. If we wouldn't have had these heat waves, you know, even though he's 2 miles away, I'd have been able to tell, but just the way it goes, I guess. Where we last saw this ram was on this shaly point here, and he went into this bowl right behind this mountain. So, all might be for naught here, Mike.
We'll find out.
But I think it's something we gotta do. 5 p.m., going on a hike. Picking our way along. Doing good, man.
We're good.
Win, lose, or draw, you're gonna have one heck of a view up there, man.
Oh, yeah. Good thing we got water.
We got water.
Oh, that's my sweat.
We're an hour and 12 minutes into it. Should get there an hour and a half. About what we were kind of.
That's what we figured.
We're kind of figuring. We peeked over. Looking in here, we can't find them. Took us an hour and 45 to get up here, so it was 2 hours probably by the time we. Actually, it was more than 2 hours by the time we left, I guess. This is a lot of work just to look at a 7/8 ram, Mike. I don't know, just never got a real definitive view. Figured we better find out for sure one way or another, but this is turning into a lot more work than I anticipated. But that's the way it is. It's 7 o'clock now. Keep pushing along till we find him. I think he went over into the backside, so we gotta go all the way to the top. This is where we saw him, on that spine. And he was going down. Figured he'd be feeding in this bowl, but I'm thinking he fed up. So we gotta cross over the saddle. So now we're going up and around. He's about what I figured. He's at about 15, 16, so he's definitely not legal.
First sheep up close. It's pretty cool.
I hate, you know, spending 4 hours, basically 2 hours of climbing to get a look at him. I'm actually over by the time we had to keep climbing, but you know, I knew he was close. And that's pretty much what I figured he was. I figured he was young, pretty tight curl, looks like a 6-year-old ram. He's probably an inch away, but he's definitely not full curl. I can't imagine that there's too many spots on this earth that are more beautiful than the Brooks Range. Unforgiving country, desolate, rugged, isolated, beautiful, quiet. Not so fruitful on sheep anymore. He's still here. I'm still chasing him. Don't get too cocky.
You gotta slow down when you end this get out of the shale.
Yep, you hit one of those big ones and then you can face plant it.
Yeah. It'll be alright.
11 o'clock. Actually, it's getting closer to noon. Morning of day 3, been foggy, rainy. It's starting to lift. So we're just kind of getting rolling. We ate breakfast already, but we're gonna eat a little lunch. Hopefully the sun continues to peek out. Dries up, lifts these clouds, and we can get hunting. So last night we came busted down off the hill. It was after 10 o'clock, raining. Went to pull out some freeze-dried, grab some hot chocolate or cider. Realized I forgot the hot chocolate and the cider. Mike was pretty good about it, but I was pretty bummed. I wasn't worried about the hot chocolate and the cider, but my coffee, definitely. Never done that one before. We were planning well, up to 5 days of spiking out. But as luck would have it, we were fogged in this morning, so we got to rest up. Called base camp, checked in. Fellow guide Bobby, Mike's new best friend Bobby, who we met at base camp. Bobby's the man. I guess Bobby found a legal ram, so we're actually packed up. We're gonna go see if we can't lay eyes on Bobby's ram again. You ready to do her, Mike? So we're waiting on a couple airplanes. We got our camps. Well, this is our spike camp. We're about 6 miles from our main camp right now. So I got runway markers set up here. And over there, just some compactor bags, some clothes and some food. So hopefully the guys will come pick us up, shuttle us back to main camp. We'll throw that stuff together, fly over to where Bobby's at, and see if we can't find that ram again. So day 3, 4:30, that's what we're up to. Your air traffic control, Mike. There we go. So we've got some birds incoming. Or at least one. You're a natural, Rhoades.
I went to school for it.
I must have gave him pretty good directions because he came right at us.
Right at us.
Always looks like they're gonna fly right into the mountain, don't it? Here comes the other bird. It's old Big Dog Sailors. I haven't flown with him in a few years. Good to see him. Just got an end mark and a threshold mark just so they can get a line where they should land. Yeah, and it's good in that end too, so they just landed there. Very good. Grab this bag. We'll be out of here. Looks like they got a plan.
They do. They're the experts.
This spot looks sheepy?
Rugged.
Rugged. It's all rugged. There's a ram here. It's all worth it. Bobby Jensen, sheep spotting machine. Well, if you know which rock he's hiding behind, we don't even have to find him. We just got to get there.
Also, we can just use him.
Morning, day 4. 5 o'clock. Waiting for the water to boil. Waiting for the fog to burn off the mountain. Get some coffee going, breakfast busted out. Head down the mountain. Bobby's gonna show us where the big rams hang out. Bobby and I think we know where we're going.
Definitely got an idea anyways.
Going IFR into the fog. 7 o'clock. Hike down to the mouth of where Bobby last saw these rams. We're waiting on a pot to boil here. Get rid of this fog. Bobby did the old count and coup on these rams pretty much. How close do you think you got to them?
About 90 yards.
Right on.
One definitely throw curl and the other one's right there, so.
Awesome. So Bobby was up the way and glassed down here and saw them on this ridge somewhere, and then they worked in that drainage, and then you put an eyeball on them again yesterday morning.
Yep. Yeah, the fog came in about 5 in the morning. I was down here about 4. Got a good look at them. They came down to the creek to drink some water, and then it just fogged in on us, so.
Pretty good idea where they should be hanging out, but nonetheless, we're just going to wait till this fog clears. We don't want to start climbing and risk bumping them. We got a pretty good idea where they're at. So, just going to play it patient. Well, boys, say she's cleared up. You ready to march?
Ready to march, ready to get her done.
Go time?
Go time.
Wind's pretty steady, so we're gonna peek over. Starting to come up the canyon now.
We're going over that hole.
Perfect. It's better now. Pretty much ideal. We poked over. Thermals are going up real good. Just a little bit foggy in there, so we're going to climb back up to the top. How we doing?
We're making it.
Is that gel in your hair?
Gel? Yeah, I gotta look pretty.
Pulling an old Houdini on us. After stomping rocks all day, we still had a 6-mile hike back to camp. I could see Mike was wearing down. When we stopped for a break, I filled his water bottle and tossed him a granola bar. He just sat there, staring at the ground. Mike's sheep hunt was just beginning.
We were so confident we would find those rams. But we looked high and low. That day made boot camp look like a walk in the park. My feet were all torn up, and my entire body hurt. My legs felt like rubber, and not finding those rams was like a dagger in my heart. That's when doubt started creeping in. I started to think, I don't know if I can do this. The country was so big and so rugged. And when you're out there all alone, the challenge is so real. I wasn't ready for the lows. Billy could tell I was fading. He told me I wasn't eating and drinking enough, that I wasn't replacing the energy that I was putting out. He'll probably tell you he gave me a pep talk, but it was more of a kick in the ass, really.
I just laid it out there for him. From now on, you're gonna eat when I eat and drink when I drink. You're gonna have to dig deep and find your motivation for being here. Tomorrow we're going to climb a mountain, and if we don't find him there, we're going to climb another mountain. We're going to do that every day until either there's no mountains left to climb, the plane comes to pick us up, or we kill a ram. Mike never said a word. I knew he had a lot more miles left in him, but I've seen it plenty of times. If a hunter shuts down mentally, it's almost impossible to bring him out of it. This was a defining moment in Mike's hunt.
Billy and I sat by the creek for a good while. I forced myself to drink 2 bottles of water and ate everything left in my pack. I thought of my buddies Pooh and Pap, who had ironically passed away 5 days apart. They both said it was the toughest hunt they had ever been on, but they got it done. They didn't quit. I couldn't stand the thought of going home and looking my dad in the eyes and telling him that I gave up, that I had quit. I couldn't live with that.
Give it to me.
Morning.
Morning. You want to try to get out of here today? Kill a ram, get out of here day 5?
Day 5 will work. Day 10 will work too.
Give it to me, Mike, come on.
Be happy to get out of here alive on day 10.
4:25. You got coffee ready. Thermals are going down. We got to find this ram, man.
We're trying.
So we're not coming out of these mountains until something's shot, either us or the ram. We're bringing 5 days worth of food and we're gone. We're not coming back until the bitter end or until we get a ram. Until we get a ram. We're gonna find this dirty dog.
Maybe this is where the rams will be.
Some mineral.
Mineral, that's
some type of mineral and big old heavy horns up this canyon. That's what it is.
Adios, Billy.
See you, man. Thanks, man.
Go get a bear.
And then there were 2. They're dropping like flies around here, Mike. It's just you and I.
Less of us and more weight in the packs.
Yep.
If he's in here, we're gonna find him.
We thought we had him nailed down yesterday, and the wind was good. I don't think he winded us. I just think he slipped through the crack somewhere. So basically, our plan is to work all the way around and try to find him. So we got 5 days worth of food on our backs, sleeping bags, a tent, and a stove. Mike's got a 300 Winchester and an itchy trigger finger.
Yeah, we got good water again.
Yeah,
It appears
hopefully.
to be.
Yes.
We were hiking along, and I looked ahead and saw Billy chasing some ptarmigan. Hearing myself laugh triggered something inside of me. I realized I wasn't having fun. But in the moment, I recognized I could still find joy in this experience, even though things weren't going the way I'd anticipated. It was like flipping a switch. I realized I was going the wrong way with the wrong attitude. I just had to simply put one foot in front of the other and go. I told myself, let's get this done.
5 miles after leaving Bobby at the saddle, the trail had grown cold. The country was all new to me, and there was virtually no vegetation. I had chosen to go west, but it was clear the rams we were after had went east. There was only one other drainage they could have gone to. This meant hiking 10 miles back to Bobby's camp, only to reattempt our plan, which was simply to keep hiking till we killed the ram or die trying. I told Mike, if we don't find him in there tomorrow morning, I know where there's proven ground, but it's 2 drainages away, and it's going to take one hell of an effort to get back in there. But it's good sheep country, and I know it like the back of my hand. If there's an old ram left in these mountains, I gotta figure that's where he'll be.
I knew staying in camp waiting for good weather so a plane could pick us up would cost us a day or two, or even the rest of the hunt. Billy told me it was going to be a death march, but to me at that point it was a no-brainer. I just looked at Billy and said, whatever it takes, let's get to proving ground.
Mike had yet to even see a legal ram, but in that moment, he became a sheep hunter. Are you sure you're ready to put it on this time?
We're ready to go.
Day 6. We're spiking out for the duration.
Loaded down heavy.
That's right. Coming out heavier, hopefully. I'm gonna spike out up here and go.
Somewhere.
We're just going. Never hiked across so much ice in my life. We're pumping out the miles. We gotta find a ram. I haven't seen a sheep in 3 days. Go that way. Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna make it through this. We're gonna figure something.
We're into an impassable area, aren't we?
Yeah. We'll see what we can do. I don't know if I want proof of me going over that one.
I'll save it.
Gotta admit, I thought about Stacia and my little ones when I went across that one. Looked good up there though, but no sheep, fortunately. I've never seen more waterfalls and glaciers on a hunt. She is pretty rocky up in here. Looks like Afghanistan. This is living, ain't it, Mike Rhoades?
Can't beat it. I'm the first people to have lunch here.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think this is a real popular picnic spot, but it should be. I'm gonna cross over this saddle. We got 5 days worth of grub with us, supplies, airing out the feet. Last bit of water before we start our climb. We gotta get her done, buddy.
Wow. A lot shorter climb than I thought we were gonna have.
Yeah. From way back down around the corner, it looked pretty. Yeah. We don't have a choice. I've never hunted this particular spot. I know there'd be sheep here from time to time. I've hunted on the backside a fair bit, so that's kind of where we're gonna head. Get into some country I know. So that's the plan. Today's day 6. We got 3 days left, 3 full hunting days after tomorrow. Freshest sign we've seen all hunt. Scat, I'd say it's less than 24 hours old. The 2 rams we'd been chasing were merely shadows. We followed their tracks, but it was clear they'd traveled into the adjacent drainage, which was out of our hunting area. It was time to focus on finding new sheep in new mountains. As soon as we topped out, the clouds swooped in from the west. We were drenched in rain, sleet, snow, and sweat. We'd been marching in dense fog for hours when we stumbled across fresh grizzly tracks. Our senses were instantly heightened, and our strides were lengthened, and our resolve to get to fresh country was greater than ever. I'm kind of a minimalist, not a big fan of GPSs, but one would have been handy that day. It was tough to know where we were when we could only see 50 feet. 10 years earlier, I would have set up camp right there and waited for better weather before continuing. But time was running out. Mike had only 3 days left to get a ram. In my gut, I felt we were in the drainage that offered the lowest pass into the area we call Flap Creek. If we were headed up the wrong drainage, it meant we would end up climbing an extra 1,500 vertical feet to get over it. I knew Mike may only have one more big climb left in him, and I wasn't sure how many climbs were left in me either. But we just kept marching anyway. It was one of the bigger gambles in my guiding career. Thankfully, my instincts were right. Darkness and hypothermia were upon us as we kicked away the snow atop the tundra beside Flap Creek. We stripped off our soaked clothes and hopped into our sleeping bags to warm our bodies, and soon passed out. We better zip that up a little bit more. She's blowing in here pretty tutti frutti. Won't get much ventilation, but
maybe we should have stayed by Bobby.
Yeah, she's a winter wonderland out there. Morning of day 7, 8 o'clock. It's been snowing pretty much all night. It's starting to stick here more recently. Big rams love the snow.
I love it.
Yeah. Actually, I've had snow work in my favor probably more than hurt, because it'll usually move the sheep somewhere, and so they get pretty active. So I hunted here one year where it was snowy and went to a certain spot. Well, actually, this hill right here behind us. So maybe they'll come out there and hit that face. Mile away from our tent, and then also right here it was snowy the one year. We killed a big ram. It's almost 40 inches. So, well, yeah, we can't see too well out here right now, obviously. So, put on quite a few miles, quite a few hard miles yesterday, climbing up over the saddle with camp. And so I'm glad we got our camp set up here where we can see. So we're in a pretty decent spot. So, ride it out and hope this weather breaks. I was lost in that tent. Not lost in where I was, but in who I was. My right foot was killing me. I didn't know it then, but the arch of my foot had collapsed. Every step felt like a vice, squeezing tighter and tighter. I questioned if it would be my last fall of guiding. I questioned how I would support my family. I had a lot of questions that day as we weathered out the storm, but I wasn't finding any answers. The Bible says that all of mankind is created in God's image. That's a powerful statement when you consider the fact every human being is totally unique. All my life, I've been enthralled by nature. I gravitated to it. For much of my life, I'd been convinced God had called me to it. Everything in nature serves a purpose. Everything receives life and ultimately gives life back. As it is in nature, I believe the individuality of each person is the precise reason the Creator of this earth puts them here. On August 17th, 2011, my hunter had tagged out and gone home, and I was all alone in the Brooks Range. It was the day my daughter Frankie was born. It was the greatest day of my life. It was the day I finally understood why I was called to the wild. So right now I just got a lot of jittery energy. I'm just gonna go for a walk and have a talk with the big guy upstairs. 4 years and 9 days later, there I was, in the same mountains, knowing full well I had shirked my duty to God, and thus everyone around me. As the notion of finding Mike a ram seemed all but impossible, I opened my Bible. The book I rarely read until that fateful day 4 years earlier. In reading the book of John, I came to the 7th and 8th verse of the 15th chapter. If I've ever spoken truth, it was that God spoke to me that day through those passages and others. I didn't hear an audible voice, but I didn't have to. His message was as real and definite as my frozen toes. Sometime during that day, Mike asked me what I was reading. He told me he too tried reading the Bible years earlier, but didn't understand it. I assured him I didn't understand much of it either. But like nature, what I did understand always left me thirsting for more. What I didn't tell Mike was that even though I had no idea how it would happen, I knew that before our time in the mountains was over, we would get a ram.
It's 7 o'clock, day number 8. 5-star accommodations. The air conditioning's working.
Oh yeah.
Just haven't tried the heat yet. What's the word today, man?
Just waiting for sunshine.
Gonna kill a ram today?
Today's a good day.
The storm has passed. We're back on the trail.
Get her done.
The mountains are a little snowy, but a lot of times that helps. What's that?
The sun.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
I told Mike, said it wouldn't be this usually. These mountains right here, this little set right there. Once in a while on that mountain. Used to see rams on there once in a while. It's gonna get some sun today. Might be a good spot. Also, when the snow comes, a lot of times rams come to that mountain there. So we are gonna go up the canyon and then into that canyon. Goes back about 8 miles. When we get a lot of snow like this, I like to stay in the bigger drainages and just cover a lot of country just to see as many mountains as you can. The sheep usually move around a fair bit. There's usually places they like to go when they get a little bit of snow. We got about 3 inches on the ground, maybe 4. Yeah, maybe 4, huh, Mike? 3, 4 anyway. Up high, probably got a little bit more, so that might be enough snow to really move the sheep around, but you really like to get sunshine because you usually end up seeing the tracks before the sheep. So we're just gonna go slow and try to cover lots of country, and hopefully we can get lucky today. Well, we're gonna change plans. Just got a gut feeling that we need to go up and over the saddle. Check out that country. Definite improvement from yesterday.
Oh yeah. Beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Just popped over the saddle. There's a huge ram, big dark horns. No, he didn't see us. We got a good ram. Peeked over the saddle. Right in here. Looked like about 500 yards. Let's do it, buddy. All right, we got the rifle loaded up. Poke around the corner, see how far he is. All right, go ahead and zoom it all the way up. Let me range him again.
He's heavy horn.
Yep. You can get on him dead solid perfect.
I'm not high enough.
Okay. Just let him walk. Don't move too much. Yep. I think he's got our wind, so just get on him dead solid perfect. Okay, don't move too much.
I'm below there.
Are you on him?
No, I got no elevation. I need more elevation.
Lay your sticks on your pack. Don't move too much. There you go. It's 330 yards. You gotta really like the first one. Okay, he's gonna move. He's getting ready to move, so he's gonna come up. So just get set. Just get set, he's moving up. Can you see him? Just take your time. Are you on him?
No.
Are you close to being on him?
No, he's gotta come up. Either I gotta come up or he does.
We'll just wait for him. Yeah, he's got our wind, so. It's 330, so you know where you're going to hold?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see him through the scope at all?
Yep.
Okay.
You gotta calm down a little.
Yep. First one's got to be perfect.
He's shook up a little.
Yep, no worries. It's just, you're just shooting a piece of paper. Just pick a hair and squeeze it slow. He'll probably move uphill. Probably slowly too, and he'll stop. Just take your time.
Why, am I gonna clear that berm in front of me?
If you can see the ram, you sure should. Yeah, just get your breathing right. There, he's moving. So get ready to stay on him. He's not too spooked. Wait for him to stop. Don't take that first shot unless you know you can kill him. 330. He's going to move up a little more. Are you good solid so you can shoot 10 yards above him? Can you see his horns at all?
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to move up a little more.
I think I got him, Billy.
You got to really like it. Squeeze it really, really slow. 330 yards. You got to really like it. Reload. Okay, you hit in front of you. Wait. 350. Wait for him to stop. 350. You hit him. Reload, wait for him to stop.
Hit him?
Yep, you hit him. I think he's hurting.
Down he goes. He's rolling.
It's a big ram.
I could see the tips way coming up.
It's a big ram.
Well, you're in that ram, Billy.
You hit that berm on your first shot.
I thought it was over it.
He's a beautiful ram.
It's a big ram. The good Lord came through for us. I had total confidence. I said a prayer last night, and I can only think of a couple times where I've prayed for an animal, but I thought, Lord,
That's for my buddies that died last year.
we deserve this one.
And Pappy, that ram's for you. I can't believe it.
Oh. The video is gonna suck because I'm shaking.
He's a beautiful ram.
He is a freaking smoker. Big dark horned. He's 10 years old anyway. He's a smoker ram.
I knew I was gonna lose it, and I don't care.
Let her rip, man. Let it rip.
Get that one out of it.
All that practice, the shooting.
And I hit the berm.
Yep. It's on the dirt fly.
I could swear I was high enough. I had him dialed for 330, and I just aimed for the front shoulder and took it. It's all work now.
Who cares? It's fun work.
I'm humbled. But I feel we're deserving as many miles as we put in.
Yeah.
A lot of tough ones.
Oh.
There were lows, but we just persevered and kept going.
By the time we get him back, we'll have close to 80 miles. If we don't have 80 miles.
I didn't even feel cold laying in that snow. I never felt it.
I bet not. When I was looking up here and I spotted him, I'm like, holy crap.
Do you see him with the naked eye?
No, just with my binoculars. He just filled him up.
I saw you drop like a stone.
Oh. Congrats, man.
Thank you. Thank you so
earned
much.
that thing.
Thank you so much.
What do we got? Day number 8 of 9.
8 of 9.
This has been one of the, you look back at all that work now, it just makes this moment all the sweeter.
That's day 4. I didn't know if I had it in me. And I just started eating a lot of food and drinking water. And I just got that mindset that I'm gonna finish this. There's no way I'm gonna quit. There's no way. And the hunter before me, he had 90 miles. And when he came back to camp, I looked at the other guys around and I said, boy, I hope I don't have to go that far. But I certainly would have.
And this is where we were in our first camp. We were hunting, and then we were planning on spiking out and actually ending up right where we're camped now and come right through this saddle. But Bobby spotted a legal ram several days ago, so we went over there, tried to track him down. It just didn't work out. We never caught up to him. And so we stomped into this country. Day before yesterday, we put on about 12 miles, heavy packs, went up and over a high saddle over 5,000 feet. And we just wanted to get to here. We were gonna go back in this valley off to the left, and this is the best country, and I knew it. And this saddle is always a pretty good crossing. We were gonna go up there just because there's more country to see and there's a lot of snow. And we stopped and we glassed it.
We had the sun, we had great weather.
Yeah, finally we got a break in the weather, and I just decided, you know what, this is our best spot. We can't take it, the weather tomorrow for granted. We got to go to the best spot today. And it paid off. Oh man.
I can't even explain how. I can't even believe it.
Can you believe it? It's over. Can you believe it?
Well, it's not over yet.
No, it ain't over, but I mean, it happened. We got it done. Unreal. I was reading the book of John last night. And it says, for those who seek to do my will and produce fruit from the vine which is Christ, ask it in my name and you shall receive. And so I read that and I said a prayer and I said, Lord, if we get a ram on this hunt, when I put the video together, the glory will be yours. And we got a ram. It was a beautiful day. August 17th, 2011. was the day I fully acknowledged Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. In that instant, it was as if I was seeing nature and the entire world around me for the very first time. Jesus himself describes it as being born again, and that's really the only words that I can describe how I felt. I immediately realized I was starting a brand new life, and I felt a powerful conviction in my heart that I had to share what I was experiencing with others. As I lay in the tent with Mike the day before, after I'd devoted 17 body-punishing days to turn up a legal ram, I had no hope we would find one. But with a few verses of scripture and one simple prayer, I knew success was certain. From the time I woke that morning, I was drawn to that saddle the way a spawning salmon is drawn from the endless ocean to the exact stream of its birth. Mike and I will both go to our graves knowing that ram truly was a gift from God. We're out of the sun. It's pretty cold. We're just easing down in here. He fell down, but don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here. We're just easing along, glassing up on the hillside. See his tracks all along this hillside. Came over top at some point this morning. Was feeding in here. Some nerve-wracking minutes there. Yeah, we shot from over there. Shot the ram up on this hillside. We didn't see where he went. He tipped over. We figured we'd walk on this side. See a snow slide of red. We actually went way down there and we're starting to get nervous to where he went. We're like, we didn't celebrate too early, did we? But now we see a slide. It must be hung up behind that boulder.
Yeah, there's a little holder. Let's go get our hands on him.
We're back on top now. We're starting to get a little nervous. Like, how could we have missed him? See his tracks where he came in. Didn't see him where he went out. How does your last climb in the Brooks Range feel?
Pretty good.
Pretty darn sweet?
Good.
Oh yeah. Got the flare like you wanted.
That's exactly what I wanted. He's exactly, I can't.
Mike, we got her done, buddy.
What a blessing, what a privilege to come up here and chase these animals.
Yeah, shot was perfect. Perfect, right behind the front shoulder. Probably a half an inch behind it. Perfect. All that shooting paid off. When did you start thinking about hunting Dall sheep?
I want to say probably 10 years ago it started becoming more of a pipe dream than anything. And then I was too old, bad back, overweight, out of shape. And then I saw Barry Barton climbing the hill and taking a ram with two rebuilt knees. And I said to myself, how can I have an excuse when Barry's up there chasing these rams and I'm sitting at home? And I made a decision that day, and there was a lot of trials and tribulations between now and then, but it all came together, and I can't even express words how grateful I am. Watching all of Billy's shows and DVDs, and it was just such a elegant, beautiful animal. The country was rugged and beautiful, as you can see. I mean, no words can describe this spot, this day. And That's why I wanted to hunt rams, but I really didn't think that it was something that I could do. And I dreamed of it, but I just didn't think I could do it. And I thought I knew exactly what I was getting into physically. The climbing, you just can't, there's nothing you can do to prepare for climbing on the rocks and the snow and the tundra and the soft ground, the hard ground. I'm as prepared as a flatlander from Green Bay, Wisconsin can be, but I wasn't ready until I got here and got into it.
To come in here on day 8, it was just, as a guide, very rewarding, and to hunt with Mike, just his humble and positive attitude. You know, I could honestly say there was just that one day when you were about whooped, and
I was struggling.
We got you some rest and got you some food, and you bounced back, maintained a positive attitude. We haven't seen a sheep, I think, for 5 days until this one. And we saw a fair number the first couple of days, but that's what sheep hunting's about, is just testing your will and not quitting and not giving up. And man, it's hunts like this as a guide that reminds me why I do what I do. Mike, a pleasure hunting with you.
Thank you,
fantastic ram. You definitely deserved it. One of the greatest hunts I've ever been on, and I've been on a fair number of them. You got a good ram under tough conditions, and you persevered where a lot of guys, they wouldn't have had it in them.
Yeah.
You earned this, man. You changed your life. You lost, what, 70 pounds?
75 pounds.
Yep. And this is why I do what I do. You meet guys like Mike. You see their motivation and their determination. And the old saying, you're a product of your environment. Hunting guys like you, it's my pleasure. Congrats, man. You earned this sucker. Good job. Awesome. All right. I think that was good.
Dad, 75 miles into it, we got a ram down. I'm holding it right now. We got him. We got him. It was a struggle, but we got him. Today's day 8. We had a 10-day hunt scheduled. Thank you. I love you, Dad. I love you. Thank you. I will. I will. All right. Bye. All right. Dad says hi.
Hey, tell him hello.
Good job. Hello, Dad. Thank you. Bye.
How satisfying was that phone call?
I probably wanted to better my life.
Oh, congratulations, man. You've earned it.
Ready.
All right, we're going to try to get him down to the bottom. See how this works. I didn't think he'd roll that far on his own, but it's pretty nice and soft with all the snow. Yeah, I think one more little nudge and we got a nice flat spot to work there. It's too treacherous up here. That won't hurt him a lick. What we're doing here is called the rib roll. The other side, I think I'll actually take a rack of ribs so we can have some sheep ribs depending on when we get out of here. So they're bloodshot pretty good. Barnes triple shock did a number on them, but I'm going to keep all these ribs in one piece so you can see what I've been doing, just cleaning out the meat in between each rib basically. So barely held on to one piece, but pretty well a side of ribs there. But usually when you don't have it bloodshot there, it'll come out all nice and neat in one piece. As Mike and I skinned and butchered the ram, the totality of the adventure and significance of it began to settle upon us. We didn't talk any more about it that day, but we both knew our lives would forever be different because of the experiences we shared. I love it. Love it. One heavily loaded pack, 2 heavily loaded packs. Looks pretty sweet. We're sticking with 10.5 years old. You believe it?
I believe it.
Believe it now, huh? Yeah, very, very thankful that one worked out. Very thankful. Couldn't have worked out any sweeter.
I drifted back for most of the pack back to camp. I guess I just wanted to soak it all in. The sense of accomplishment and the overall experience was almost euphoric. My thoughts drifted to Pooh and Pap, how like them, I too was afforded the privilege of carrying my Dall ram off the mountain on my back. I did in fact have what it takes. I was tough enough, physically and more important, mentally, to get it done on the mountain. The other thing that kept coming to the forefront of my mind was the phone call home to my dad. When I booked this hunt, I knew full well that there was a strong possibility that he wouldn't be around for this call. The fact that we got to share that experience together, even if for only a few minutes by sat phone, is one of the things in my life that I am most grateful for.
Last side hill into the season.
But that breaks your heart, huh?
Yeah, it does.
We're getting her.
That was the hardest part of this whole thing, was side hilling for me.
Yeah?
Yeah. The climbing was no treat, but the side hilling, that hurt.
It's tough on the feet.
Yeah, even with the top of the line boots, it just can't prepare for it.
Yeah. 6:30, probably won't be back to camp till, yeah, won't be back to camp till 8:30 anyway. We have arrived. Here's the meat willows. We'll hang the meat in there, and here's our strip.
Oh, yeah.
We made her, buddy. Nice job, man.
What an amazing deal.
Do a little spin here. See the old ram? Nice. 10.5 years old. He's a beauty.
I'm spent. Emotionally, physically, I'm done.
Right on.
The timing couldn't have been better.
It was time.
It was time.
Our adventure had most certainly brought Mike and I closer to a true reflection of who each of us was put on this earth to be. Little did we know, early the next morning, as I was still in my underwear, our adventure was not yet over.
Boots are a little cold this morning. I actually had them inside the tent, and that's how much ice is on them. A little bit of snow. Might get out of here yet today. So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's 1 in a million.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I think it's kind of slim.
You got a grizzly bear. Just wait. Just wait. Okay.
Hey, yeah, get out of here!
Wing one over its head.
Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here!
Wing another one over its head. Alright, hold on. Trying to keep him from stealing all of our meat. Just shoot well in front of it and beyond it.
Get out of there!
You take them both? I took the good one. You got them both.
No,
Oh, he took the good one, left the crap. We gotta watch out for him because he's circling to smell us. Get out of here! Well in front of him. In front of him so the dirt sprays in his face.
I'm down to 2 bullets, Billy.
That's all you have? Yep. Then save them. We might be able to salvage a fair bit of this. We can find it, whatever we can find.
He was there.
Yeah, I don't think he was here too long because I was just up. I think it just caught him just as he was taking it.
Yeah, we got to get him run off though. Never a dull moment in Alaska, huh?
Couldn't have taken the bag, all the scraps and the bloodshot. He had to take the good stuff.
Yeah.
I suppose his nose tells him the difference.
Yeah. I should have kept that one right in camp. But, you know, figure one night.
We haven't seen any bears. I mean.
Yeah. This bear just won't leave. Get out of here!
He's directly in our wind too.
Get out of here!
Well, you did say you were going to give me the entire Alaskan experience.
Yeah, I'd say we got just about everything on this hunt.
Yeah.
We got to get this dude ran out of here. He's just too young to know any better. He's not being real aggressive, but he just will not leave us. And he's not scared. Mike fired 4 rounds at him and can't get him to budge. Well, we got the runway marked, either end. Here's the meat. There's camp. There's the bear. There's the other runway marker. Is that the closest you've ever been to a grizzly bear? Yeah. Well, we scored there.
Yeah, he saved one important piece of meat.
Hey, we're doing all right.
You must have caught him just as he got the bag open.
Yep, there's a piece of meat in the bushes here somewhere. So let's just throw that in there.
Well, he must have.
Or set it in there. Is there tenderloins in there? Yeah, you dirty little rascal. That almost looks like that was a piece off of the shank off the front leg. Well, we'll find it either way. Yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll find the rest. There we go. Oh yeah, we're getting most of it. He did chew up on that a little bit.
He got about half of the hind quarter.
Track. I think that's a couple different tracks together. He ain't that big. We're doing good. I think this bear is finally scared. He's scared of the sleeping pad. Got downwind of us, camp. We yelled at him, shot at him, but he's looking back at that sleeping pad.
Just know that the only limits that in life, and I'm not just talking about Alaska, I'm talking about anything, are limits that you place on yourself. And if you limit yourself, you're cutting yourself short. And you shouldn't live with that. You shouldn't find that acceptable. So find your dream and chase it, and don't let it get away. That's about all I have.
I love it.
Thank you, Billy. It's been a hell of an adventure.
And it's still an adventure. We're waiting on the plains, and we got a grizzly bear backtracking our track because we just stole his meat. Yeah. Mike, again, my pleasure.
Adventure, Billy.
One heck of an adventure. An awesome adventure. Fortunately, the weather was clear. I called base camp and explained our situation. They assured us the pilots would be there within the hour. The bear was literally standing right on the runway. Matt and Big Dog had to abort their first attempt to land and go around. There, he's finally leaving now that the planes are coming in to land. I think he owes me a pad.
The bigger off the pad was on.
The thought of not having a sleeping pad for my next 2 months in the bush made me want to punch Matt in the gut the instant he stepped out of the plane. In recognizing he was my only ticket for a home-cooked meal and a hot shower, I decided to forgive and forget. An apology and an offer to have his sleeping pad were the first words out of his mouth. Matt Thoff's a guy I've come to know and love over the years. That landing's one of the many tales we relive over a leftover box of wine at the end of every hunting season. Big Dog stood beside Mike and I as we hustled our gear together. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed him rolling a fresh cigarette. Sometime between drags, he said, "You boys better hurry up. Your buddy's back." We looked behind us, and there was the grizzly 60 yards away, poking his head out of the willows. We scooped up our belongings and double-timed it to the plains. We threw everything in back and hopped in. As I buckled up, I looked back to where our camp was minutes earlier. I saw the bear licking the blood off the bush the meat was hung on. Big Dog firewalled the engine before I could get to my camera. The Tundra tires began rolling. The tail wheel rose off the ground. And soon, we were gone. Just like that, the adventure was over. Just as Mike didn't know if he had what it took to make it through an Alaskan Dall sheep hunt, I too wondered if I had the cojones to tell my experience truthfully, exactly as we lived it. I didn't share this story to become anyone's moral compass. I share this story because my Christian faith, without question, is the single greatest product of the 30+ years I've spent hunting and studying nature. I share this story because I could no longer look into my daughter's eyes and expect them to believe me when I'd tell them that God had a special design for their lives, when I knew damn good and well I wasn't following God's path for my own life. Ever since the day Frankie was born, I've resisted sharing my faith because of what others would think or say. I was scared it might cost me friends and customers. But I've come to realize if I'm not man enough to live the life I want to live, how could I ever expect my daughters to live their lives on their terms?
A moose.
No!
A caribou.
No! What? It goes.
Elk.
Elk, very good. I believe the sharing of this story was a mountain God wanted me to climb, a cross He wants me to bear. I'm slowly learning that the more I trust Him rather than my own reasoning, the more peace and joy I find. I share this story also because that's what sheep hunters do. They don't follow or look for the paths of others. They long for the deep, unfamiliar mountains. They cast fear aside and strive forward with courage and boldness. They forge ahead, all in the hope of discovering that high, lofty basin that no one else knows about, where the grass is lush, the water is clean, and a twisted horned monarch is perched in the crags high above. The things of greatest value in this life, you can't hold them in your hand. You can't hang them on your wall or put them in your wallet. What really matters in this life is found in the pursuit, in those countless, often desperate climbs that no one else knows about or could even begin to understand. You ready for this, Mike?
No choice now, do I?
Nope, not much.
This stuff is gnarly.
Yeah, big rocks.
Danger zone right there.
Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna make it through this. We're gonna figure something.
Into an impassable area, aren't we?
If you don't take on the steepest, rockiest mountains, and you never stumble and fall, you'll never know the spirit of a sheep hunter.
You got a lot of writing to do in the journal tonight, man.
It's a big day.
It was a darn big day.
I don't know where to start.
There was other times, you know, bow hunting. I put them in a stand one time bow hunting. I said, you go up in that tree right there, there's a stand. You stay there till dark and I'll come and get you. I got up in a tree and got comfortable and I looked and here come Mike walking across the field. And I thought, where are you going? And I come out and he says, Dad, he says, I shot a nice buck. I said, how could you shoot a nice buck? You just got in a tree. He says, I no sooner sat down and he come underneath the tree. We got lanterns, went back in, and we retrieved, I believe it was an 8-pointer, and that was a memory. That'll never go away. And it was a father-son moment.
So,
What do you think?
this is like, so what do you do for a living?
I'm a correctional officer.
Okay, and when a guy goes into the clink, what does he get? Don't they get one phone call?
They get one phone call.
Who are you gonna call?
I'm gonna call my dad.
Let's call Pa.
Let's do it.
And we were out for fish dinner. And my phone rang, and I did look at the phone and think, I don't recognize the number, but I said, you know, I was kind of expecting to hear from Mike. Excited, you know, it was pretty emotional. It was like what he set out to do, he has done. It was a dream come true. That's pretty much it. It was a dream come true.
And we got Bobby's toilet paper.
Yep, now we're filled with toilet paper.
So we're good.
Got Mountain House and toilet paper. What more do you need? You write your name in the snow? Might be here. It might be here 5 years from now.
Piss hole in the glacier.
Cause this thing to collapse.
You could just drag them right out on the frozen tundra.
Yep.
Like Lambeau Field, frozen tundra. Mike's a Green Bay native.
Yep.
Go Pack, go. Oh, I love the Packers. Gosh, I love the Packers.
I wonder how they're doing.
Sorry, Billy, I couldn't shoot him in the sun. So you got a nice warm place to butcher them.
It makes for better pictures though. The sun will be around by the time we're butchering.
Push it to the limit and then put a little bit more, just to say, okay, I can do this.
We're scooting pretty good.
Pretty quick, we'll earn a meal in a bag.
I should hope so.
Start with
The weather breaking.
I woke with a fart. A freeze-dried flatulation.
She red?
She's red.
Alright.
I think. I am colorblind.
No, are you?
Yeah.
Is it a single dot or is it a dot and a bar?
It's a single dot.
Let me see it.
The big rock that the pad was on.
Yeah, some antlers and a rock.
Fling them through my tail.
Don't know. Some fancy pilot work. I don't think there's a patch kit that's gonna save that one. No. Yeah, she's seen better days. Thermarest is pretty good about returning stuff or replacing, but
that's
when I tell them pilot ran it over, I don't know what they'll say.
That's obviously abuse.
Yeah, tell me slept on it that many nights and then this happened all of a sudden. This is just some horn growing mineral in the water.
Yeah.
Makes the horns big and
Drink up.
obviously that ain't working. Guess I better get my pants on, huh?
Yeah. Hey Barry, that's a big ram. Thank you, by the way.
I told old Barry he was going to be an inspiration to a lot of guys, and here's living proof, huh?
It certainly was.
Awesome.
Certainly is.
How nice are wet ones on hunts like this?
When you remember to use them.
Yeah, we probably should have been using them more than we did.
Oh yeah.
Freeze-drieds, if for those who haven't eaten them, they keep you pretty regular, to say the least.
Yes, sir.
Any final thoughts?
No, I'm good.
You just don't want to see your face too much on the director's cut.
No.
For more information on other DVDs, books, and modern-day mountain man apparel, log on to BillyMolls.adventures.com. Here you'll also find information on Alaskan hunting opportunities with Billy for Dall sheep, caribou, moose, brown bear, grizzly bear, as well as white-tailed deer hunting in Wisconsin. Much of Billy's off-season is devoted to public speaking. He travels across the country sharing his knowledge and passion for the wilderness at corporate events, schools, conservation organizations, wild game dinners, Christian outreach events, and much more. Billy is a master storyteller. Attendees are sure to be entertained, educated, and inspired. Log on or call for more information.